ठीक है चलिए.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm recording it now. Fine, no problem. So the
Okay.
Ministry of Defense note says China came in is taken off website. So as the information was, what you can say, put up on the Ministry of Defense, it has been removed by the Ministry of Defense after the accusation of the opposition leaders. So that you need to check it out. Then at bottom hand, we know that support of India against China, concern over Jammu and Kashmir, says US congressman. So we know that US is again going to support India in case of China's aggression. So US congressman says that we need to support India against the China. Okay, going to the next news. So ex-Union Minister Manoj Sinha is surprise pick for new Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor. So we have seen that yesterday the Lieutenant Governor of the Jammu and Kashmir has exited, and today the government has decided to appoint Manoj Sinha as a what you can say the new Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor. That is explained here. Politician back at helm of Union Territory. Sinha held no BJP post since last poll loss. He has lost the election in the general election. So that is why his appointment is considered as a surprise by many people. Going to the next page. So there will be an explanation about the new education policy by Amit Khare, who is the Secretary of Higher Education, Ministry of Education, Government of India. So he's an IS officer. So he will be giving an explanation about the new education policy, what is in it, and what does it seek to achieve. So all of you are asking me to take the lecture on the new educational policy. So an explanation will be given with by Amit Khare. So it will be having an online session. It will be started on 7th of sorry, on 8th of August at 7 p.m. So it may be today itself. So today maybe at 7 p.m. he may cite today is 7 August, right? So tomorrow it will be held at around 7 p.m. So you can, what you can see, if you want to join that session, you can send a message on this particular number. You will get a link to join it. So try to join it tomorrow. So tomorrow 7 o'clock. So we'll try to finish our newspaper discussion before 7 so that we can join this. Even I will also join to this particular session. So all of you try to, what you can say, join this session. Okay. Then so obviously it will be a government side of the new education policy, that what is the new education policy and what does it tries to achieve or what it does seek to achieve from this new education policy. It will be explained by Amit Khare. He's again one of the senior IS officer of Government of India. He was from Maharashtra. We can go and check it out. So there is one more news that new SOP, that is standard operation procedure, changed the routine. NDRF fights COVID-19 along with natural disasters. So we know that the natural disaster and disaster management is again one of the very, very important aspects of the Government of India. So here you can see that how the NDRF is trying to change its SOP, how it is trying to change its routine, and how our NDRF, that is National Disaster Rescue Force, is trying to fight with COVID-19 along with other natural disasters like floods. We know that in Pune and in Mumbai, there were flooding situation in the Mumbai. So how they're trying to cope up with these new challenges, that is explained here. So it will be helpful in writing the answer for paper 3 topic, disaster and disaster management. The CSIR study to explore possibility of airborne transmission of COVID-19, because it has been believed that there cannot be a transmission through air of the COVID-19 virus, but they are going to study and the possibilities of the airborne transmission of the COVID-19. So just read it out. So our Prime Minister has is flagging off the India's first ever Kisan Rail for seamless connectivity among farms, market, and consumers. So there is one topic in paper 3 called the supply chain management issues related to agricultural produce of the farmers, and the supply chain issues related to the agri produces and agri what you can say the market. So the government of India is trying to create a Kisan Rail through which it will create a connectivity, a seamless connectivity among the farms, markets, and consumers. So Devlali to Danapur Kisan Rail will be launched today. That is what is mentioned here. So what are the salient features of this particular what you can say the Kisan Rail? First ever multi-commodity train will carry fruits like pomegranate, banana, grapes, etc. and vegetables like capsicum, cauliflower, then drumsticks, cabbage, onions, chilies. All these vegetables will be transported by this train. The train will cater to the requirement of small farmers and small traders for carrying their perishable to distant places. The loading and unloading of perishable commodities will be permitted at all en route stoppages. Wherever the train will stop, there will be loading and unloading of all the vegetables. This will initially be once a week service. However, based on user experience, further modification can be done. So initially, it has been started by this train will go for once in a week. If the number is required, or then it can be increased or it can be decreased again. Kisan Special Parcel Express Train will have halts at Nasik Road, Manmad, Jalgaon, Bhusawal, Burhanpur, Khandwa, Itarsi, Jabalpur, Satna, Katni, Manikpur, Prayagraj. So these were the, and it will go from Maharashtra to all the way to UP. So that is mentioned here, sir. It will go from Devlali of Nasik to Danapur in UP. So that is what is explained here. So you just read it out. You can take an example, or you can give an example of this initiative of the government to address the issues of the agricultural market and agricultural market produce in the country. So it's again you need to remember what is this Kisan Rail. Fine. Then going to the next. So you can take this point in the paper 3 topic, issues related to the agricultural marketing. So today's editorial page, the new Lieutenant Governor in Jammu and Kashmir. So, because we have seen that yesterday the Lieutenant Governor has resigned from their post. So, but changing occupant of Raj Bhavan can be no answer in Kashmir. It needs revival of political process, elected assembly. So we know that Jammu and Kashmir has been created union territory with the assembly. It will be same like the assembly of the Delhi. So elections should be conducted in Delhi, in Jammu and Kashmir assembly. That is what is mentioned. By changing governor, it will not solve the issue. It needs to revive the political process, because in last 6 months there are no elections, there are no political representatives, and in a democratic country like India, if there are no elections for like more than 1 hour and 1 hour 2 hours, then it will be not a good sign. So that is what is the opinion of the editorial. What is saying that the government needs to revive the political process and elected assembly, like as per the new constitutional amendment, assembly should be elected in the Jammu and Kashmir. So that is what is mentioned here. So just read it out. How only by changing the governor it will not have a what I can say it will not solve the problem. So keeping powder dry, RBI leaves rates unchanged, signal from room for further easing in times of continuing uncertainty. So this editorial is related to the Reserve Bank of India's decision for not changing any monetary policies. So that we will read it out. It will help you in understanding the banking, or it will help in understanding the economic issues of the country. So in a unanimous decision, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Reserve Bank of India choose to maintain the status quo on the interest rates while retaining its accommodative stance. While growth concerns continue to be dominant, the MPC noted that several high-frequency indicators had leveled off, suggesting that continued support was needed. Its decision in a part was driven by continuing uncertainty over the trajectory of inflation, doubts over the efficacy of the incremental rate cuts at the current juncture with spread of the virus prompting what you can say localized lockdown. So what it is mentioned is that why the Reserve Bank of India has not made any changes in that, because they do not have any what you can say they cannot forecast what could be the trajectory of the inflation, whether the inflation will be increased or whether the inflation will be decreased. There is doubt about it. One more important doubts about the efficacy of the incremental rate cuts, because we have seen that for the last 6-7 months the Reserve Bank of India has been continuously cutting down the monetary policy rate. It is continuously cutting down the SLR rate, then the bank rates and all these things. In spite of that, the economic growth is not reviving. So what RBI believe that such type of rate cutting will not be effective to revive the Indian economy. So that is what is mentioned, and a desire to keep the powder dry for possible easing down the road. So powder dry means what? If you want to increase the liquidity, obviously you have to put some water. So that has been kept. While future policies action will be data driven, the unwillingness of the central bank to provide any estimate of economic growth or inflation underlines the continuing uncertainty. So normally, whenever the Reserve Bank of India takes a monetary policy review, at that time it declares or it forecasts the economic growth rate, and it also forecasts the inflation rate. But in yesterday's press conference, Reserve Bank of India has not given any such forecast related to the inflation as well as related to what you can say the growth rate of the country. So that's what underlines the continuing uncertainty even before the RBI of not deciding the monetary policies. So alongside the policy announcement, the Reserve Bank of India also unveiled a series of regulatory measures aimed at easing the financial stress in the system. It has provided a window under prudential framework to allow the lenders to implement a resolution plan, while the details of the loan restructuring will be worked out by committee headed by KV Kamath. So you need to remember that a restructuring policy or restructuring plan will be decided as per the recommendation given by KV Kamath. The broad contours of the scheme suggest a rule and time-bound framework. Only business affected by the COVID pandemic accounts not in default more than 30 days as of March 12,000. Sorry, March 1, 2020, the COVID pandemic accounts not in the default more than 30 days of the March 1 will be eligible for restructuring. Moving to such a rules-based framework rather than one based on banks' discretion should not only help the alleviate stress but also allay concern to some extent of the misuse of the restructuring scheme. So there can be a misuse of the restructuring scheme. That is what is apprehended by the editorial. Further, the decision stressed micro, small, and medium enterprises will be eligible for restructuring under the existing framework, will also provide much needed relief. However, increasing loan to value ratio of gold loans while helping ease households' cash flows during this financial stressful period is questionable at a time when the gold prices have surged. We know that yesterday the gold prices have been increased up to 53,000 rupees per 10 gram. So in such situation, linking the loan to the gold is not a good idea. That is what is mentioned here. In the run-up of the MPC meeting, that is monetary policy meeting, there was much debate over the extent of the policy space available to the committee to further cut rates, especially with inflation not trending downwards as was expected owing to the destruction of demand. However, the MPC did reiterate the space for further monetary easing, while retail inflation expected to trend lower in the second half of the current financial year, owing to base effects and fewer supply side disruption. If the spread of the virus is contained, it could open up space for further easing. So here there is one term called the base effect, and we have already discussed about how the base effect will, what I can say, lead to decrease in the inflation rate. That is what is mentioned here. So RBI is expecting that in the second half of the this financial year, the inflation rate will be decreased, and when the inflation rate will be decreased, the RBI may go for easy money policy, right? So any doubts about this particular article of the Reserve Bank of India? Why the Reserve Bank of India has not changed any policy rates, and what could be the likely consequences or what could be the negatives of such type of the policies which is decided by the Reserve Bank of India, especially about the restructuring of the stress asset that you need to know. Any doubts, Ritika? For this particular,
sir. I'll read.
You are understanding this particular point? I hope
yes, more or less.
Yeah, so now I hope all of you are understanding how the economic policies are decided by the government as well as the Reserve Bank of India. Fine, Gitanjali, or still confusion? Hello?
No, sir, got it. Yes.
Fine. Fine. Going to the next. page. Let me check it out if there is any important article written at the right hand side. The article is written by Hasib Drabu. Hasib Drabu is an expert of the Jammu and Kashmir. So he says, listen to Valley. It is not the dumb silence of apathy or resignation. It is the fertile silence of awareness alive with alert perception. So we know that yesterday the Lieutenant Governor of the Jammu and Kashmir has resigned as a, what you can say, as a protest against the government policies toward the Jammu and Kashmir. So that Hasid Drabu is saying that okay, not only resignation will not solve the problem, we need to listen what the people of Jammu and Kashmir want to say. What are their issues? What are their concerns? What are their problems? So that is what is mentioned. It is the fertile silence of awareness, alive with the alert perceptions. So if you want to be expert of the Jammu and Kashmir issue, we can read this article. Otherwise, if any questions comes related to Jammu and Kashmir, simply we can say, I don't have any idea in the interview. Moving to the next question, bank and the COVID pain. So we know that during this COVID-19, the entrepreneurs, businessmen are having pain, then obviously they are not in a position to pay back the loan to the government. So how the banks and the COVID pain is managed by the government, that can be explained here. So Manish Sabharwal, as we know, I have shared once a video of the Manish Sabharwal. Do you remember? He has given us 6 ways that how the economy can be recovered. All of you remember? I have shared it a video on the group.
Yes, sir.
That how he has given 6 what I can say the ways
Yeah.
through we can do it. One of his suggestion,
5 points.
yeah, one of his suggestion was related to the education system, and we know that new education policy has been what you can say initiated by the government. So he's again one of the very best. Hello, 1 second. Sorry. So Manish Sabharwal is again one of the experts of the economics of India. So he has written an article about the issues of the bank and the COVID pain. So let's resist short-termism, persist with multi-year 5-pillar strategy to raise credit to GDP ratio to 100%. So any idea what is the credit to GDP ratio in India now? In UPSC prelims exam, the question can be asked, the credit to GDP ratio is increasing or the credit to GDP ratio is decreasing. So all of you have checked what is credit to GDP ratio in the last few years. Is it 100% or not? Obviously it is not. That is why he is saying that we need a 5-pillar strategy to raise credit to GDP ratio to 100%. So what is that multi-year 5-pillar strategy should be taken to revive the Indian economy? We should not have a short-term goal. We need to have a long-term goal to revive the Indian economy. So that is what he's saying. So we should resist from making a policy related to the short-termism. We need to have a long-term policies. So the irony of the history is that Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's speech to the nation at 8:30 p.m. on July 1969 announcing a bank nationalization is being done to allocate credit to farmers, small enterprises and the self-employed was drafted by I.G. Patel. But in 1979, the RBI Governor Patel wisely reflected credit is not a gift or a subsidy, and it has to be repaid. Otherwise, any credit expansion, no matter how worthily the recipient of cause, will only waste scarce national resources that poor country cannot afford. Like we are knowing that many people, when they are taking the loan from the banks, they are not considering it a loan, they are considering it as a subsidy, because it has become a habit of the people to not repaying loan back. So that is what the IG Patel, the then governor of the RBI, had said. So you need to, what you can say, read this article, what are the problems being faced by the banking system in India. So just read it out. A modern economy grows lending and a modern state is a welfare state. But fiscal constraints of natural disasters often create temptation to disguise the spending as lending. COVID's pain is breeding unreasonable requests like interest waivers, endless moratorium extensions, blanket one-time restructuring. Let we know, like yesterday's blanket one-time restructuring, fudging accounting, reducing capital adequacy ratio, 24-month IBC suspension, etc., is also what I can say breeding an academic blame game that insists the problem is personality is not structure or not structure. So here you will get the recent terms in the banking sector. Like I told you that I will be giving you the list recent notification terms which are there in the news. So these all terms which will you need to check it out related to the banking sector. So here you can read it out. What will be the consequence of interest waivers? Then moratorium extension, blanket one-time restructuring. That restructuring, what is that? That you need to know. Then fudging of accounting. What is that meaning of fudging of accounting? That you need to check it out. Then reducing the capital adequacy. That we know that, that the commercial bank are supposed to keep some capital into their with them. So the Reserve Bank of India has allowed the banks to reduce the capital adequacy. So what will be the consequence or what will be the likely impact of capital adequacy, what you can say adequacy reduction will have on the liquidity inflation, that you need to check it out. The next is IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code suspension. So what is this Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code? All you need to take it out, right? So make a list of all these topics and study. I'm expecting at least one question in prelims and one question in mains about these particular problems which are being faced by the banking sector in India. Any doubts? Okay, going to the next. Shashi Tharoor has written an article, The Survivor's Message. Life has triumphed over death in Hiroshima, but memories and stories remain. Check it. Going to the explain page, why interest rates unchanged. So here in today's Indian explain, it has been explained why the interest rate has been unchanged by the Reserve Bank of India. So Reserve Bank of India's monetary policy review has kept interest rates on hold, contrary to broad market expectations. So market expected that the Reserve Bank of India will reduce the bank interest rates, but it has not done. A look at how concerns around inflation and growth led to this decision, other key highlights. So here the data has been given about the hypothetical situation, then how it will not, that is what is explained here. So just read it out, all this article. You will come to know how the monetary policies will have impact on the growth and inflation, that you will come to know. So cut this article, put it in paper 3. Then there is one more article written by Udit Mishra, how our inflation rate and interest rates are linked with each other. So what do you think? Interest rate increase will lead to more inflation or less inflation? If suppose the bank increases the interest rate, it will lead to more inflation or less inflation?
Less inflation.
And if the interest rates are reduced, inflation will be increased or inflation will be decreased?
Increased.
Right, so that is what is mentioned here. So you just need to know the basic, because I told you that UPSC do ask question that what will be the likely consequence of this particular initiative taken by the Reserve Bank of India. So if you know the basics, you will get the answer. Fine. Then going to the next article, EWS quota, that is economically weaker section quota law, what a 5-judge constitution bench will look into. So judicial review petition has been filed into the Supreme Court. So a 5-judge constitution bench will look into the issues related to the EWS quota. So read this article and cut this article and put it in paper 2 topic, various legislatures created by the union government. So questions have been asked in the past in the mains exam about the laws which are passed in the part in the parliament. Going to the economics page. Here it is mentioned that in ground zero, Ganjam, why NREGS is not an answer. So that is also mentioned that in some of the areas, National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme cannot be an answer to the problems or the rural distress which are faced in the rural areas. EIA draft aims to bring violators under regulatory regime, Javadekar. EIA, remember all of you, what is EIA? Environmental impact assessment. So there will be a draft, there will be some changes into the environmental impact assessment. So this EIA draft aims to bring violators under the regulatory regime. That is what our Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar is saying. So cut this article and put it in paper 3 topic, environmental impact assessment. You have to read and cut this article and put it in paper 3. Going to the next article. Today is what you can say. Today is Indian Express. Sorry, today is economics. So the Reserve Bank of India has created a panel under the leadership of KV Kamath to work out a fine print about the one-time restructuring of loans. So if you don't know what is the meaning of restructuring of loan, go and check it out. Even if you don't understand, you can ask me in the tomorrow's morning revision class. So read this whole article, how the restructuring of loan works in an economy. Right hand side, there is one article, borrowers can get loan of up to 90% of the value of the pledged gold. So the Reserve Bank of India has given a mode where you can have what you can say, you can take the loan of the 90% of the value of the total gold. So we know that currently due to the surge in the demand of the gold, the value is 55,000 rupees. But actually the value of the gold is not 55,000 rupees. Suppose if someone has got a loan that 90% of the value of the gold, what will happen? Suppose 90% of 50,000 rupees. What will be the 90% of the 55? It will be more than 45,000. Am I right? So, and suppose suddenly after some time, if the value of the gold reduces, then obviously it will be lost to the commercial bank. So that is what is the question raised by the editorial of the Indian Express, that how the Reserve Bank of India can allow 90% of the value of the pledged gold loan can be given up to that 90%. So banks may be wary about it. So with gold prices at all high time, banks may be wary of increasing the loan to value ratio all the way to 90%. At the same time, as the LTV relaxation is currently not applicable to NBFCs as of now, some of the incremental demand witnessed by them may move to banks on account of higher value realization. So you know what is, you understood what is this meaning of loan to value ratio? That whenever you give loan to the bank, and if whenever you take a loan, gold loan, then obviously the loan is given by the commercial bank by some percentage of the total value of the gold. Like for example, suppose if the value of the gold is 1 lakh rupees, the commercial bank gives you the loan of 50,000 rupees, 60,000 rupees. But now here the RBI has asked the, as RBI has asked them to give the loan of 90% of the total gold. So which is again a worrisome, what you can say, direction given by the RBI. Check it. These two important news are there. Remaining news are not important for us. You can read the remaining news. Fine. So Microsoft aiming to buy TikTok's entire global business. So there will be no use of banning TikTok if the Microsoft buys the TikTok, because obviously if the Microsoft buys, then Microsoft cannot be banned in India. So there will be no use of that. Check it. There is one more news here, that is NCLAT, that is National Company Law Administrative Tribunal. In afternoon's class, we have discussed about what is the purpose of the NCLAT. NCLAT has been created to take the cases related to the insolvency and bankruptcy court. Chaliye. So any doubts? Hello? Okay. So if you don't have any doubts, we can stop it. All of you can hear my voice. Is it visible? Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
So that's all about for the today's newspaper. Now you can see the time we are able to reduce the time for newspaper now, because earlier you know that earlier we used to take a lot of time for reading the newspaper, but now you people might be realizing that you can read the newspaper within just 15 to 20 minutes if you know what to read and what not to read, and if you know the background of that particular issue. And since all of the issues which are reading the newspaper, we all of you know the background of those issues, so you may be in a better position to read the news. Fine?
Yes, sir.
Shall we? So I'm stopping here. Tomorrow we'll continue.
Okay, sir.